Good morning, I am Prarambha Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. A dozen and a half laws endorsed by the third session of the Parliament. Prime Minister Oli claims notable achievements made for Constitution Amendment. Opposition alleges the government failed to be accountable to the Parliament. Provincial ministers indifferent towards federal government's pledge to eradicate tuberculosis. The disease prevalent in province 2 due to authorities' negligence. U.S. Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report summary to the Congress suggests American President Trump's campaign did not conspire with Russia during the 2016 election. And Nepal crashes out of the AFC Under-23 Championship qualifiers after a 5-0 defeat against Qatar. Men's national team takes on Kuwait tonight in the second international friendly. Prime Minister K.B. Sharma Oli has said that the government has made notable accomplishments to lead the nation towards new destinations with the formulation of laws for the implementation of the Constitution. Addressing the closing meeting of the winter session of the Parliament, Prime Minister Oli urged everyone to become optimistic, saying republicanism in Nepal was achieved through the long-term struggle and sacrifices of the public. Premier Oli added that the nation could not step back at this juncture in any pretext. Prime Minister Oli was aggressive towards Netro Bikram Chand-led Nepal Communist Party and said that those who did not follow peaceful ways of addressing issues would be penalized. Deputy Leader of Nepali Congress's Parliamentary Party, Vijay Kumar Gachadar, reminded the Parliament of republicanism and Constitution being a common achievement of everyone and also noted the two-thirds majority government's failure in being accountable to the Parliament. The winter session of the Federal Parliament, which began on the 26th of December last year, ended at midnight. A dozen and a half laws necessary for implementation of the Constitution were endorsed during this period. The government has formulated a law on retirement fund after being unable to bear the burden of the pension expenses of civil servants, security personnel and teachers. As the law has already been certified by the President after being endorsed by the Parliament, the government will now deduct 6% from the employees' salaries and deposit by adding the same amount by itself in the retirement fund. As much as 46 billion rupees was spent from state coffers for the retirement expenses alone in the last fiscal year. As the amount in this regard has continued to increase by the year, the government has eventually been able to come up with a law that would help cover the pension expenses based on the contribution of the employees themselves. Although the provision has been in practice in other nations for many years, it has come into effect in Nepal only after 18 years of struggle due to resistance from the employees. Although the provision would increase the government expenses for the time being, it would help reduce the burden of pension expenses in the long run. The establishment of the fund would also ensure that the employees get their pension even in case the government is in economic crisis. There is a high prevalence of tuberculosis in Province 2. The budget allocated for alleviating the disease, however, has been dispatched for constructing school buildings. Social Development Minister of Province 2, Noel Kishore Shah, has transferred 20 million rupees of budget allocated for reducing the occurrence of tuberculosis in the province to build school infrastructures in his electoral constituency. Around 265 children under the age of 15 were found contracting tuberculosis in Province 2 last year. As much as 255 of them lost their lives due to the disease. Tuberculosis has taken a pandemic form in the province due to various aspects like failure to diagnose the disease, lack of proper facility to examine the patient's sputum, and lack of awareness among the local residents, among others. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), more than 45,000 people are detected with tuberculosis virus every year in the country. Among them, 9,000 patients are from Province 2 alone. It has been estimated that as much as 30% of the tuberculosis patients do not still have access to treatment. The federal government has aimed to eradicate tuberculosis from the country by 2030. Even the provincial governments have pledged to eradicate the disease by 2025. However, the provincial minister himself has deducted the budget allocated for containing the disease to spend the amount for constructing school infrastructures in his own electoral constituency. Besides the high-ranking officials like ministers' indifference towards the policies and regulations of provincial government itself, this has raised uncertainty over the government's aim of alleviating the affected population from the impact of tuberculosis. Multilingual literature seminar has been organized in Rakhe Bazar, the border of Pastar and Ilam, aimed at developing language and literature in the region. In this context, we had asked the participants about the significance of the seminar. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
हामी आम नेपालीहरुलाई
एक अर्कामा सांस्कृतिक रूपमा अन्तर्घुलन हुने एउटा महत्त्वपूर्ण काम गर्छ।
एउटाले अर्को भाषाको एउटाले अर्को संस्कृतिको बोध गर्ने अनि एकले अर्काको संस्कारमा आफू उपस्थित हुने र अर्कोले अर्काको संस्कारमा उपस्थित हुने यो अभ्यासले हाम्रो नेपाली भाषालाई हामी भाषा र संस्कृतिलाई संरक्षण गर्न सक्छौँ।
यस्तो बहुभाषिक र भाषिक कार्यक्रमले पक्कै पनि जनचेतना अभिवृद्धि गराउँछ र आफ्नो भाषाप्रति माया जागर हुन्छ।
यसले गर्दाखेरि नेपालका भाषा साहित्य संस्कृतिहरूको उत्थानको लागि ठुलो सहयोग हुन्छ।
नेपाली भाषा मात्रै नभएर नेपालभित्र बोलिने अन्य जनजातिका भाषा र त्यसका साहित्य र संस्कृतिको पनि प्रवर्धन गर्न विकास गर्नको लागि सघाउ पुर्याउँछ।
It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what is your take on provincial ministers spending the budget allocated for control of tuberculosis to build schools in their constituencies? Your options are A. Abuse of authority, B. Apathetic, and C. Prioritizing education. The voting is on. You can type NEWS, select your option A, B or C, and then send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. With this, let us move on to the sports news.
Sports news.
Nepal has crashed out from the group stage of the AFC Under-23 Championship qualifiers after suffering a defeat in the second match as well. Nepal was thrashed 5-0 by Qatar in the Group A match played last night. Qatar first scored in the 25th minute of the match through Abdullah Al-Araq. Al-Rabi found the net in the 54th minute, while Dinesh Razmansi gifted an own goal 6 minutes later. Qatar were completely dominant against Nepal as they scored 2 more goals in the last 10 minutes of the match. Nepal had suffered a 1-0 defeat against Oman in the first fixture. Nepal will play against Afghanistan in the last group match, slated for tomorrow. Meanwhile, Nepal's men's national football team is scheduled to play the second international friendly against Kuwait tonight. Nepal is making preparations to give continuity to the performance exhibited in the first friendly match. Nepal head coach Yohan Kalen, who handed opportunities to new players in the first friendly match, is likely to make a few changes for the second fixture. Team Nepal, which had left for Kuwait without 6 of its young players, was underestimated by the hosts in the first match. Kuwait had fielded young players instead of its main players. Coach Kalen is well aware about Kuwait's objective of securing a huge margin win against Nepal in the second friendly slated for this evening. Having lost 5 successive defeats against Kuwait, Nepal was able to secure a draw in the 6th clash between the two nations. However, Nepal has not scored a single goal against Kuwait since 1982. Captain Biraj Morjan has said that Nepal will play the match with the strategy of putting an end to the goal drought and securing a good result against Kuwait. The first friendly between Nepal and Kuwait had ended in a goalless draw. Tonight's clash will kick off at 9:15 p.m. Nepal time at Al Trabab Stadium. Germany has seen off the Netherlands 3-2 at the Euro Cup qualifiers. Nico Schulz scored the winner in the fag end of the match to ensure a victory for the Germans. Host the Netherlands were 2 goals down in the first half of the Group C match. Leroy Sané put the Germans ahead in the 15th minute of the match, whilst Serge Gnabry doubled their lead in the 34th minute. The Netherlands then made a strong comeback in the second half as Matthijs de Ligt found the net in the 48th minute and Memphis Depay leveled the scoreline at 2-2 in the 63rd minute. However, the Netherlands lost composure in the last minute of the match and Nico Schulz scored the winner for Germany. The win meant Germany have avenged their loss against the Netherlands suffered at the UEFA Nations League. Another match of the same group saw Northern Ireland secured a 2-1 win against Belarus. Elsewhere, Belgium scored a 2-0 win against Cyprus in the Group I fixture. Eden Hazard of Chelsea put Belgium ahead in the 10th minute, while Michy Batshuayi doubled their lead 8 minutes later. It was Eden Hazard's 100th cap for Belgium, which he marked with a goal. Russia crossed Kazakhstan 4-0 in another Group I match where Denis Cheryshev scored a brace. Artem Dzyuba found the net, while the visitors were gifted an own goal by Besibekov. Meanwhile, Poland saw off Latvia 2-0 in the Group G fixture. Robert Lewandowski found the net in the 76th minute, while Kalim Gelk sealed the win with his goal 8 minutes later. More sports news. Delhi Capitals registered a 37-run win against Mumbai Indians in their first match of the Indian Premier League IPL this season. However, Nepalese spin prodigy Sandeep Lamichhane missed out from the Delhi playing 11. Host Mumbai won the toss at Wankhede Stadium and chose to field first. Delhi posted 213 runs, losing 6 wickets in 20 overs. Rishabh Pant scored a quick-fire 78 runs off 27 balls for Delhi as his innings included 7 fours and 7 sixes. Colin Ingram scored 47 runs while Shikhar Dhawan added 46. Delhi were particularly aggressive in the final quarter of their innings as they scored 99 runs from 6 overs. Mitchell McClenaghan claimed 3 wickets for Mumbai. In reply, Mumbai were bowled out for 176 runs in 19.2 overs. Yuvraj Singh's contribution of 53 runs was not enough for the hosts. Hardik Pandya scored 32 while Quinton de Kock added 27. Ishant Sharma and Kagiso Rabada picked 2 wickets each for Delhi. Delhi Capitals will next play against Chennai Super Kings tomorrow. Today's fixture of the Indian Premier League sees Rajasthan Royals take on Kings 11 Punjab. That is all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.